So can you tell me a time when you first realised the importance of executive presence in your career?
A time. Um, I think, that there are specific moments, but also for me, I feel like it was a real build.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I, Specifically in my corporate career, the moment I went from a general manager to an executive general manager, so the building of your executive career and having that sense of you've got a new peer group.
Mm.
You've got really different people around you that are brilliant in what they do, having a significant impact,
Mm.
and that doesn't come by chance. And I think there's a whole lot of people that I see every day that are on autopilot
Mm.
and not being deliberate and thinking about how am I showing up? How am I planning for these meetings? What sort of impact do I want to have?
Mm.
How am I building, the confidence from the inside, but also thinking about how I'm showing up on the outside, all of your world, Julie. And
Mm.
so I think that moment for me in the transition from general management to executive roles and having a whole different and having to show up at, very senior board, executive forums, you have to be deliberate. That was my realization. This presence doesn't just happen. It's really a set of behaviors and things that you learn, and you need to be deliberate about to make sure that you do have a presence that's authentic to you and that you are landing with other people with the right impact.
I love the word you've used, be deliberate, because, and also you talked about people just being on autopilot, just going through the motions without potentially any real thought behind, well, who am I meeting? What's it all about? What's the outcome that I want to see? How should I be showing up?
Mm,
'Cause I know,
yeah.
yeah.
I used to get a lot of requests for, used to as in when I was in those senior roles, get a lot of requests from other women across the business to mentor them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very common that, and I would ask them, what sort of feedback have you had? How are you thinking about your leadership? What's working well? What's not working so well? Where do you see your opportunities and challenges? And it was so common for women to say, I've had this feedback that I need to work on my presence, or I don't have the right level of executive or leadership presence. And I'd
Mm.
say, well, what does that mean to you? How are you thinking about that? And they'd say, I've got no idea. I don't know what it means. I don't know. I've just been told this, but I have been given no other detail. And that's so common that people get feedback. You don't have a good, or you don't have the right level of executive presence to go into those roles. But even the people giving feedback don't really know what that means.
I hear you. I hear you, absolutely. And there's a lot of written content out there too about you need to have executive presence, and it talks about a whole lot of things about communication skills and interpersonal skills. Never talks about appearance, never talks about
Mm,
how you show up. And so there is no definitive explanation of what executive presence is. And it means different things to different people. But at the end of the day, I think what you're saying is, you really need to take a holistic approach and look at, well, what is the outcome that I want? And am I getting the results that I want the way I'm doing it now? People tell me, no, I need more of something. So what is the something? And so
mm.
how do people go to actually try and research that and find that missing link?
I think a really good place to start is with some good feedback.
Mm.
So if you've got people around you, senior people is helpful who have kind of walked in the shoes ahead of you
Mm.
that you trust, that will give you honest feedback. Honest, practical feedback is helpful. So I think feedback, because we can think we have a level of presence, but in this world of whether we're talking about presence or our leadership brand, which is all in that same world, it's not what we necessarily think about ourselves, it's how we land with others. So I can think that I've got a great level of presence, but I might be in a meeting or in meetings or, you know, having a conversation with you, and I come across as distracted, and or I haven't thought enough about my contribution to the conversation or to the meeting. I, you know, there could be loads of other things going on. It's how you're landing that is the signal of what your presence is.